Good evening. Haruzetam Nowruz or Nowruzetam Piruz. Sole noch Majeste. This would be all the Persian because not everyone here speaks Persian. Shana Tova. Friday night, the night between Friday and Saturday, midnight 45, 11 seconds. Those of you who watched Eggs on a Mirror or Green Onion in Water saw the world trembling a little when the new year 2574 began. Or 1394 if you follow the Hijra calendar. Did you clean your house? Did you? Chana Tekuni, Kadmin. We also clean it now for Pesach. Did you sprout the sprouts? Yeah, I cheat a little bit. I sprout to the supermarket. I buy sprouts and buy them, but it's on Nowruz, which is the holiday we celebrate now. I give a little background because not everyone here knows Nowruz, not everyone knows Pesach, not everyone knows Purim. So some of you will be familiar with things I say. Nowruz, which is the new year, starts in the exact second of the spring equinox, when day and night are equal, or to be more scientific, when the bull that carries the earth on one horn transfers it to the other. This is why it trembles. And it's the most exact of all calendars in existence. That's why it starts at a different second every year. The holiday actually starts at least 3 weeks before, when we start sprouting the sprouts, cleaning the house, starting making wishes, shopping, a lot of shopping. In Iran, the prices of ajil and pesteh go skyrocketing. Nuts and pistachios. We clean the house, and then we spread the haftzin. We don't have haftzin this year, do we? Okay. On the haftzin, haft in Persian means 7, and sin, the letter sin. We spread a table with 7 things that begin with the letter sin that we wish ourselves for the next year. For example, sil, apple, signifies health and fertility. We have sir, garlic, which also signifies health and saves us from evil eye, and yasin, sombol, which gives us good smell and also signifies growth, and so forth. You can choose actually any 7 things, but there are some things that are more traditional than others. On years that I didn't find enough sins, I put a sa'at seiko. It also works because it signifies the time that goes. Okay? And there's also the very well-known setek and sepageti in the States, but it doesn't really work because it's estek and spaghetti. So we have a table with designated things. Also things that don't begin with sin but have to be there, like eggs, like fish, like candles for the light, some put milk. The origin of the haftzin is not known. Actually, it's not even documented before the 18th century, maybe even before the 19th century. Travelers who documented everything in Persia don't document this, and Zoroastrians outside of Iran don't have a haftzin. So the origins are, some people say maybe it was a haftshin, because there's a verse that describes haftshin, 7 things that begin with shin. One of them was wine, which obviously we can't put on the table now that it's Islamic. And one of them is honey, which we can put anyway, and milk, which is there anyway, and all sorts of plants, sugar. So it was half shin. It was 7 shins, and then when Islam came, we had to change it, because now we can't do the Zoroastrian thing anymore. We're not allowed to put half shin, we'll put half tzin. And we'll also put some shins there, but we don't count them. There are also theories about half tzini, for 7 trays of different cereals, of half tmim, mahi, fish, still remains. Some say meigu is there. We don't. The truth is, nobody knows. But it's so beautiful. Who cares where it's from? Another holiday we have right before the next year. What did you do last Tuesday night? Did you jump over fire? Yeah. Okay. Where's the baby? Did you pass the baby over fire? No? Oh. You passed their husband over fire. We light fires. Light fires on the eve of Wednesday. We call it Wednesday, but we do it actually Tuesday night. We jump over fire, and we say to the fire, take my illness and give me your health. Take my yellow and give me your red. And we say it's a very ancient Zoroastrian tradition because we like feeling that we are keeping old Iranian traditions from before Islam. But Zoroastrian cherish fire. They will not pollute it. They will not insult it. And when you jump over fire, one of your hairs may fall into the fire and pollute it. If you have dust on your clothes, you may pollute the fire. So it puts the fire in danger. And when you tell the fire to give you her health, or its health, when you tell the fire to give you its health and take your illness, you're actually cursing the fire. That's not something you're supposed to do when you're Zoroastrian. One of the hypotheses about the origins of Charshambe Suri is that on the eve before the New Year, because you know, the New Year, this is also the reason why we do Chanetikani, why we clean the house so much. Because we have to start the New Year clean. So the New Year will be better. And in Zoroastrianism, because fire is sacred and cherished, they used to light big fires in order to purify the air. On those days, fire used to purify the air. Yeah. It purifies actually the air of jinns and divs and pari and all kinds of demons. So you can't really see it or smell it, but it purifies the air. And it makes the new year enter without all the bad things. And then in Islamic times, everything had to change. So in order to show the Muslims that we're insulting the fire, first we chose, when I say we, I mean the ancient Iranians, because I identify with my research objects. You have to get used to that. I wasn't really there to my best knowledge. First of all, we moved it to Wednesday, because Wednesday in Islam is considered a bad luck day, instead of the New Year's Eve. And then we insulted the fire and we jumped over it, which is something a good Zoroastrian will never do. But we still light fires, and if you tell an Iranian today that this is the reason we jump over fire and say these things at New Year's, it's a little bit insulting, because we like to think we're keeping an old Zoroastrian tradition. We are, but we had to change it in order for Islam to allow us to continue these traditions. Another tradition, which I will go back to when I talk about Purim and Pesach, is Haji Piruz. Haji Piruz now is a clown. It's a man who colors his face in black, wears red clothes, and sings and dances in the street with a tambourine and makes sure everyone's happy. In the old days, this is one of the hypotheses, in the old days, Haji Piruz, he wasn't Haji as in someone who went to Makkah, of course. More like, well, now when you say Haji, it has another meaning. But it was like Lord, the victorious Lord, who was the most righteous man in town, and his role was to make sure that everyone, including the poor, has enough to celebrate the holiday and be happy during Nowruz. It was a very important temporary king. He took the place of the king. He was the temporary king before the holiday, made sure everyone was happy, and then went on with his life. In some places, there is, in Iran, even today, there is still a habit of a temporary king before Nowruz, or a temporary mayor before Nowruz. In some of the cities, it has to be a woman. This is important because we're going to talk about Purim. Also in Pesach, women have an important role. In Nowruz, one of the role of women, besides the temporary mayor, one of the scenes on the table is samanu. Who makes samanu? Only women. But now we buy it. Okay. Yesterday, I heard the Stil Shkalim who's here. I heard her talk about the samanu, and she said it's like charoset in Pesach. Everyone used to make it, but now everyone buys it. But it used to be the role of the women, and you could make wishes for the new year while you make it, and wish for a husband, and wish for children. And you can still do that, if you want, next year. Not the men. So there was this temporary mayor, who used to be a very important man, but because of Islam, he was reduced to a clown. But Nowruz is still one of the favorite, if not the most favorite holiday in Iran today. And after the Islamic Revolution, when they tried to abolish it or ban it, they just couldn't, because for Iranians it was more important. When Nowruz coincided with Ashura, and they said you can't celebrate, even in a dictatorship, they couldn't ban Nowruz, and they couldn't ban this happiness. This year it coincides with the death of Fatemeh, and again they said, be happy starting Monday. And Khamenei even said in his speech this year, which this is totally, if you can't beat them, join them. Yeah. He said that it's not a Zoroastrian holiday, it's a Muslim holiday. It became a Muslim holiday, celebrating actually all Iranian unity and traditions of just being human, of all religions, but it's an Islamic value. But actually, there is something to it, because in spring holidays, and we can see it also in Purim, and we can see it in the Mimuna, which is also something I learned from Esther. There are elements of doing things another way, of breaking rules, of breaking boundaries. In Hebrew, in the scroll of Esther, they say nahafochu, make it the other way around. The temporary mayor may be part of that. In the Mimuna, children used to beat their elders instead of respecting them. In Purim, we wear costumes. In the scroll of Esther, the Jews were in grave danger and were saved. Also in Pesach. They say that Jewish holidays, if you want to sum up all Jewish holidays in 3 sentences, you can say, they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. Actually, this is true only for 3 holidays. I counted, well, no. In Lag BaOmer we don't really eat.
And we didn't really win.
And we didn't really win, yeah. And it's actually a Zionist holiday. We're not talking now about Lag BaOmer, the only connection is fire. But this is true for Hanukkah, which is in the time of Shabi Yada, the longest period of the year, the longest nights of the year. And it's true for Purim and for Pesach, which are both spring holidays. In all of the ancient East, there were spring holidays